Hey, how you doing? Stone aka Seashore's Wall here. And this is paint, yes. Why have I got paint up? Well, because I noticed that I still have I had paint up randomly and I noticed that my OBS still has a paint capture from when I made a video where I scribbled in paint like a while ago. I kind of then just was almost going to say a yonks ago. That doesn't make any sense. Yonks is a completely different word than a while, but it doesn't matter. This is a terrible intro. Anyway, so what am I going to do with this paint tool that we have here? Well, let's make some blooming art, shall we? Why the hell not? But what kind of art? I don't. Well, I have an idea. How about something non-literal, abstract, like a lot of my stuff? We'll start with this. We'll start with a curling line. I don't normally make my abstracts in paint, but we'll do it in paint because I've got paint open. We'll start with a line, a nice line. Yeah, this is a good line. I like this line. But it will have to end. Now let's do another line. Only let's not use the same colour. Let's go red. Oh yes, that'll be striking. And let's have this line's characteristics be a bit different. The other line was quite wavy. Let's make this one more jagged, spiked, you might say. Yes, I like this. It's pretty hard to explain why. But yeah. Let's just... Okay. The end there I got a bit. But you know what? That's a good idea. Let's get a bit. Ah, yes. This is a good line. Okay, I think we might be getting somewhere. Ooh. Yeah, this is all one line. My ability to hold a mouse is impressive, I know. Now let's go back to the original, which is similar in nature to the that line, but you know, I did it a lot more smooth. Yes. Back to red. Now, I could just do the lines the same as I did before, but where's the fun in that? Where's the variety? Where's the joy of creating some nonsense, some chaos? Where is the chaos? Eh? I'm gonna close my blooming eyes. Okay, well, obviously I'm not gonna have it be pure white. If I wanted pure white, I could just... I mean, this is pretty black. This is basically black. In fact, what's the difference between this and black? Nothing. Well, that's certainly chaotic, you have to admit. Okay, let's make it a bit more blue. And you know what? Sure, let's use some white. I don't know why I clicked that when I had, you know... I could just as easily simply have done the left-hand click. Because, you know, the left click is also white, see? How about a bit of orange? Yeah. I don't normally voice out my thought processes like this, of course, when I'm creating my abstract works. When I'm creating my abstract works, I well, I basically always just go with the flow, you know what I mean? See what you can do with your thoughts, you know what I mean? You know, see where things take you, and they might take you to something that looks interesting. I feel like this is becoming interesting to look at. A bit of a mess, but it's meant to be a bit of a mess. You know, I'm not making particularly, you know, I'm not making something ordered here, and I would never pretend that this is ordered. I'm going with my whims. I'm following whatever path my mind thinks it wants to follow at that specific moment. So, you know, naturally it'll look however it looks at the end of it all. We'll see how it looks at the end of it all. I'm not even going to bother using that. Not quite. Like, I'm pretty sure those two are basically the same colour despite technically existing on different. That's the risk of closing your eyes, I suppose. You might notice that I'm making multiple lines here rather than one specific. Almost like an S the way I'm doing this. Marvellous stuff, marvellous stuff. Bit more white over here. Yeah, sure. Interesting. Yes. I'm starting to see. Maybe. Maybe a little of that. Maybe another bit of this. Oh yes. Oh yes. Look at that. I feel like things are taking shape here. What shape? I don't know. But it feels like they're taking some kind of shape. Like a square. Or a circle. Or a triangle. Except not at all like any of those. Marvellous stuff, marvellous stuff, marvellous stuff indeed, marvellous stuff indeed. This commentary is probably not going to help anyone understand whatever the hell is going on here. I mean, if you say there is nothing going on here, you're just scribbling onto a paint document, you would be correct. And yet you would also be wrong. And I don't quite know how to explain why. Because I'm not just scribbling randomly. I'm scribbling randomly with the intent of scribbling randomly. Is that not more than just scribbling randomly? I could do all sorts of things. I could draw this. What's that? It's nothing. But what if I fill it in? It's still nothing. Indeed. But what if I make a red circle inside it? It's still nothing. But what if I just cross it out with this orange line so that, and then just completely ignore it and go over it again and again and again, and you won't even notice that it's there except that you know that it's there. The end of it all. Layered on layered on layer on layer on layer. There's only one layer, and that layer is chaos. And that chaos is drawn. And that drawing and every single still frame of it will be visible. Unlike most of my work in which the layers on layers on layers on layers are become invisible. Sometimes it's impossible to even tell what the original colour of the air document was, and that's because I incorporate and sometimes the original colour of the background is actually multiple colours because I split them. I draw lines like this, and then I go to my fill tool and I go blah 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 blah. You see that? That's something that I've never done before. I've never done that in one of my abstracts before. I've never just used the fill tool and hit a line and made it like that. That's very interesting, actually. That looks very interesting indeed. Yes, I like that. I like that, and I didn't even and I did that because I was making a point but I like what happened because of my point. And that's the thing, isn't it? You got to see what you can do. You got to make... And I encourage anyone who wants to make art, because, well, what's good? I don't know. I think we need to see more art in general. I know there's a lot of art out there, but there can always be more. Am you gonna get famous? Of course not. Of bloody course not. If that's what you're looking for, you're in the wrong place. You know, don't try and make art to become known. Make art because you want to make art, and if people like it, people like it. People who like your art won't even necessarily interact with it at all. You know, they might look at it and then they don't actually do any. They don't actually tell you, even. You don't know, because they won't tell you. And why won't they tell you? I don't know. Why haven't you ever told anyone? Why haven't you? I'm going to use the fill tool randomly now, because I kind of liked doing that. I think that was an interesting thing. That's an interesting concept I accidentally thought of doing. Utilizing Paint's fill tool. Yes, in fact, maybe. Oh, maybe. Oh yes, that's an idea. A colour that only exists in the fill. Oh yes, this is... this is getting interesting now. This is getting interesting now, I think. I think this is getting very interesting now. Look at this. Look at how this is turning out. I like this. But maybe you don't. Maybe you think that I'm just a weirdo rambling nonsense while scribbling on a paint document. And paint document? Paint. What on earth do you call a paint? This. I don't bloody know. But the point is that ideas are flowing. Those ideas don't necessarily make sense. Those ideas don't have any rhyme nor reason to them, but they're flowing. And that's what's the important part, I reckon. That's what I reckon is the important part. Yes, 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 yes. Marvellous stuff, marvellous stuff. Oh, this is becoming quite the incredible piece. And you know what? Unlike all my other abstracts, you can see this piece at every second of its drawing. Maybe you like an older version of this drawing better than the current one. You can just pause the video and observe it at that point. You know? Ain't that interesting? Because while there will be an end result of this grey, I didn't mean to click grey, but that's a good idea. That's a good idea. Let's get some grey. Oh, yes. Let's get some grey over here specifically. Oh, marvellous, marvellous. Marvellous indeed. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. I told myself that I wouldn't use those for actually drawing lines, but I've done it now. Maybe we should use the fill tool to rectify that. Only partially, though. Oh, yes. And we know that that's why I'm doing this, but no one in the future will know that. Okay, okay. I mean, I say no one in the future will know that. They will if they watch this. You know, while we're in Paint, we might as well incorporate some of the unique things that Paint has to offer. Like this marker tool. Curious. Maybe the crayon as well. It makes it obvious that it was drawn in paint, but it's already going to be obvious that it was drawn in paint from the fact that I'm making a video in which I'm drawing it in paint. Ha 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 Oh, marvellous, marvellous. See, this commentary is probably absolute nonsense to listen to, isn't it? But that's okay. Who needs it to make sense? Does it have to make sense? Does making sense make things better? Maybe. For some people. Not for me necessarily. Not for me necessarily at all. You know? Oh ho ho, wow, my. Oh yes, this is good. This is good. I like this. How long have I been doing this now? 16 minutes. 16 minutes only, and this is what's come up from it. Splendid stuff. Splendid stuff indeed. Ooh. Ho ho ho, look at this. Look at this. Okay. And is this done? Maybe one more line in the original style. Yes. That seems like a fitting way to end it. Okay, I think we am done. I think we am done with this work. What am I gonna title it? That's a good question. I don't know. Maybe recorded. Yes, that makes sense. Because I recorded the creation of this work, I shall name it Recorded. So, this is recorded. And that will be the end of the recording. Ha ha ha. Ta-ra.